Hello, my friends, and welcome to a space where pleasure is treasured, relaxation is not what you think it is, and life firing on all cylinders is what we're about. If you are somebody who wakes up every day asking for way more, consider this your happy place. Welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm your host, Heather Nichols. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm here with y'all this week from Seattle. Beautiful, glorious Seattle. There's a beautiful lake right there. It's just such a nurturing place for me to be, and I'm so happy to be here. And I wanted to talk this week about making decisions and making choices. And this is something that is such a big topic in the worlds of basically everybody. I mean, we all have choices that we need to make in our businesses, in our lives, with our bodies, with our relationships. I mean, we have choices that we are actually making choices all day long, every day. And we don't even realize it sometimes. It's one of those things where, we talk in Access Consciousness about this tool of having 10-second increments of choice. And literally we're choosing every 10 seconds, even more often than that, with what we're thinking, the thoughts that we have in our head, what we're doing with our bodies, what we're putting in our bodies, what we're doing in our relationships, the things that we're projecting on our relationships. We're making choices all day long and we don't even realize it. And so how do we harness that? How do we turn that reality into something that's very powerful and powerfully make choices without overthinking and having to head trip and really do a lot of deliberation? Because that's something that we all learn to do. We learn how to kind of weigh the pros and cons and see, try to figure out what our choices are going to create. When we do that, we're always looking for a result. And when we look for results when we look to make choices that are where we're desiring a particular result, that never goes very well. Sometimes you may hit the mark, but if we start to function beyond results, that is such a different space, such a different reality, and a different possibility. And it's amazing what can show up. This is where we go from results to possibilities when we change the way that we see our choices, our decision making, and when we change how we make our choices and our decisions. So when you're looking for a result, it's like, I have a choice to make in my business. Am I going to do A or B? And then you look at the results you would like to have, and then you have to think it through. You have to think through, if you're doing pros and cons, you have to think through and be like, okay, well, the pro would be this, the con would be this, all of this kind of, mental masturbation, really, of what is this, what are all the advantages and the disadvantages? We're engaging our minds, we're engaging logic. We're not engaging magic. We're not engaging the energetics, which is really where everything gets created and everything occurs. It's from the energy. It's from the energy that we're being. It's from the energy that we are choosing and not choosing and paying attention to and giving our attention to. And that is such a different way of functioning. And it's one that really has to be learned, I would say. And so there's a tool in Access Consciousness, and it's called Light and Heavy. And this is a tool that you may be familiar with if you've taken any Access classes. And I will say that what I would like to do today in this short podcast is just give you a slightly different perspective on that tool, because a lot of people use it in a way that doesn't really allow you to get the biggest bang for your buck out of what that tool can actually create for you. So light and heavy is the acknowledgement of energy at the root of everything. And it also acknowledges that when something is true for you, there is a lightness to it. there's a sense of space to it. Like when you consider whatever that thing may be, whatever that choice may be, there's a sense of expansiveness. And and then when something is not true for you, it's a lie for you, it has heaviness to it. Like there's a sense of like contraction or shrinking that goes with that choice. And so, when you start looking at this, using this tool to make choices, sometimes it's super clear. And especially, I would say in the beginning, um, like basically as we develop more subtlety of awareness, things start to really shift with this tool, and you have to expand and kind of zoom out on what you're looking at. Um, when so if you're faced with A, B, this decision in your business, let's just say, but you could apply this to anything, relationships, something you might want to do with your body, anything that you want to choose, a financial decision, an investment you want to make, whatever. A and B. Sometimes there's more choices, but for the purposes of this, we're going to go A, B. And it's like, you may go, okay, so if I choose A, what will my life be like in 5 years? Get the energy of that. Don't think about it. Don't answer it. Don't look for an answer. Just perceive the energies of that. And we ask the question about 5 years because 5 years is far enough into the future where you can't really put definition on it. So if I choose A, what will my life be like in 5 years? If I choose B, what will my life be like in 5 years? And just see, and there's definitely like I can even, without even having a sense of what A and B are, I'm like, oh, A has some lightness to it. B has more of a sense of like solidity and heaviness and kind of, energy to it. And so that's the beginning, right? That's the like entry into that tool is it light? Is it heavy? Now, you may not have clarity with that. You may not have a sense of the energies of it, or it may be that the energies are really different. They're not necessarily, one isn't necessarily light or heavy, just different. And it also may be that you may have it may be all kind of blank, and so what I want to talk about here is how to explore this tool a little bit more with a little bit more of a nuanced awareness, because there's so much to it. And one of the things that happens when people use the tool of light and heavy is they kind of apply their mind to it. They apply their thinking to it. And it's like, okay, if I am like, you go in with the result, needing a result, you go in with like needing to have a specific outcome based on your choices. And then you try to apply that to this question and this tool. The thing is that you've already decided what it is that you need, what it is that you need to happen. And I see people do this all the time with the tools of access consciousness, where they and lots of other magic as well. But one of the things that we do, and I've done this myself, is we'll ask for things, or we'll ask questions that are so full of agenda and what we've decided needs to happen. So let's take this business decision, A or B. Okay, and then it's like, okay, so what I've decided needs to happen with my business is I need my income to grow by 50% this year, and I need, my clientele to grow, and I need my business to grow this year, or even like this month, or it depends on your situation. But for some people there's a lot of urgency, maybe they have some cash flow needs or whatever. So it's like, that's the agenda, that's the point of view, that's the decision. I need my business to grow by 50% this year, or I just need it to grow yesterday. So we're like, there's this need, and need is a lie. When we need, we lie. When we have a sense of need, we're lying to ourselves. Infinite beings is, with access, we have this question, would an infinite being truly choose this? It's one of the 10 keys to freedom that's in the foundation class. And when you see yourself as an infinite being, an energetic being, a magical creature, there's so much more that becomes available to you, and you really start to play on the playground of energy and create in a completely different way. Everything that I've created in my life, so since I've discovered the tools of access, which has been 15 years for me, has been massive. I mean, it's been really just so much magic has occurred. The more I relax, the more ease I have, the more ease I choose, the more everything just opens up and into something far, far greater. And it's been a learning process. It's been a process of kind of showing myself, what's possible through using the tools and making choices. So if you have an agenda of like, this is what needs to happen in the business, will A, create that, or B, create that, you're going down a path where you're not going to have the energetic clarity and awareness because you've already decided what needs to happen. This is where we have to trust the universe. We got to let go and trust the universe and trust ourselves and trust the power of choice and the power of creating and choosing from energy, and know that that's at the basis of everything. And so then it's like you can let go of your agenda. And because if you have an agenda, the universe, your infinite being, like, you cannot be gifted with possibilities and a sense of contribution and a sense of generativity in your life. You cannot have that because you continue to think about what you need and lie to yourself about what you need and decide what you need. What if instead you zoomed way out with what you were asking for? A lot of times we decide, I need my business to grow because blah, blah, blah. But a lot of times it's money. I need more money. All of that's a lie. That's all a lie. Well, you can have more money easily. And the irony is when you let go of need, you actually have more money. It's kind of amazing how it works. And so, because we're not telling ourselves a lie of lack. Our point of view creates our reality. So there's a million tools woven through this. And I could dive in and extrapolate with each one. And I'm not going to do that. But, perhaps I will cover some of these things in future podcasts. But so if you don't have the lie of I need, instead you have the perspective of, I wonder what magic is available and possible. Like, what's possible for my business and for my life that I have never considered. Pardon the background noise. We have seaplanes going by out there, which is just so fun to see. And they're loud. So I apologize if there's some background noise. So we have, so we cut out the magic that's possible. And I know in my life, like, where my life is now and what my life is now, I never would have asked for it or chosen it or been like, this is what I want. My life has become so magical and the universe has surprised me in so many ways. But if I was left to my own devices and my own decisions and needs and computations, it never would have showed up. It would be so much smaller than what it is. So we got to let go into the magic and the creation of living, the magic of discovering new possibilities every day and receiving new possibilities every day. So when you bring that to this question of A or B, light or heavy, which choice should I make? It's like, be in the question of what magic is available? What futures can I create that I've never considered before? Dear universe, show me what you got. Like, what is possible for me, my life, and my business that I've never considered? You ask those questions, let them fly, let them go out into the universe, and the universe will do its magic with you as the one who's making the choices. That's your part in everything. And then, things will start to shift and change and show up in all kinds of beautiful ways. So if you're looking at A and B and you're like, I would love to have some magic. I would love to have a future that's even so much greater than what I've decided is possible. Now, if I choose A, what will my life be like in 5 years? If I choose B, what will my life be like in 5 years? You're going to have a different awareness, a different sense of energy. Whenever you're looking to achieve a result with your choices they're not actual choices. Like, you don't have the power of choice that choice truly is. If you're looking for a result, choice is so diminished and your decision making is so diminished because there's so many possibilities that are available to you that you are literally excluding with your decisions and your judgments about what you need and what needs to happen. So get over that and start to play with, wow, okay, if I was going for a totally miraculous, magical future far greater than I could even fathom, what choices are available to me, you know? Now, one other thing I want to say about this is, and there's so much, but I am going to keep this one short. One other thing that I want to say is that a lot of times also our points of view tend to have a dynamic impact on the perceiving of the light and the heavy. And this is a big one. I've heard so many people over the years say, well, that wasn't light, you know? And as soon as they say that wasn't light or that was heavy, it's heavy for me because I'm aware that they're lying to themselves. I have definitely done that myself as well. But I really don't anymore, because I know what light and heavy can be, and I continue to explore it all the time. And that's not like I've arrived anywhere, but if something doesn't match a preference, if something doesn't match what you've decided, if you're like, I don't have the money for that thing, so it's not light. It's like lie, you know? When you choose something, you don't have to know how you're gonna achieve it, how you're gonna actualize it, how it's gonna show up. The how is not at all up to you. Not at all up to you. And maybe I'll do the next podcast on that. Because the how doesn't matter. Like, you let the universe in, you allow it to show you what's available, what's possible. The how just, it doesn't matter. And so when because we continue to make choices, because really the thing about choices is choice is a tool that allows you to have more awareness. That's it. It's not a tool for result. If you try to use it for result, you're going to diminish the possibilities in your life. If you use choice as a tool that will give you more awareness constantly, and it may not even be immediate, but if you live from a space of choice and playing with the energies of light and heavy, choice it's one of the most powerful tools that you can use to gain more awareness, more awareness, more awareness, more awareness. If you stay out of making yourself right or wrong, the awareness will contribute to you no matter what it is. Every choice will give you more awareness. Doesn't matter if it's crap, if it creates crap, or if it creates something great. It doesn't really matter. You're going to have more awareness. And the more subtlety you're willing to perceive with this light and heavy, and the more you're willing to be out of the form and structure of like, well, if it's light, it matches my points of view. If it's heavy, it doesn't match my points of view. That's not light and heavy. That's I've decided, period, end of story. So you've got to stay in the energetics of it. And here's the thing that I really want to highlight here is that something that is unfamiliar, something that makes you uncomfortable, something that feels awkward, something where you have no idea how you're going to achieve it. Maybe it's a choice you'd like to make and you have no idea where the money's going to come from if it involves money. It's going to feel uncomfortable a lot of the time. It's going to challenge you to step into something greater a lot of the time. That's not necessarily going to feel light and fluffy, but that doesn't mean that it's heavy. It means that it's awkward and strange and makes you uncomfortable and weird. And you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it, and dear universe, show me, let's play, let's go, all of those energies they're not heavy, they're different. And that's where we have to get out of what we've decided light and heavy is. Different, awkward, weird, strange, uncomfortable. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. All of those things can have such a different kind of lightness to them. And this lightness that goes way beyond your mind into the energies of the future that you are aware of, where it's just like, I don't know how this is going to occur, but let's go. And then we get exhilarated, and we might also get terrified. X, terrified. Excited and terrified. Exhilarated and terrified. X, terrified. That can be so light. And what I mean by that is that can have a sense of creating, like being true for you as an infinite being. The more we're willing to choose into that, the more we're willing to make ourselves uncomfortable with our choices, the more the universe can show up and play with us in the magic of creation and the beauty of the creation of living. This is where possibility comes into our lives. This is where magic comes into our lives. This is where we have so much more contribution and receiving, but you have to be willing to be on your own creative edge, to explore and to choose those things that make you so uncomfortable, but you know they're going to expand your future. And that is a very different space to play from and as and with. So that's my very, very, very concise, believe it or not, summary of this tool. And there's so much more. There's universes more. And if you would like more, there's more. You can just go to my events page on my website, heathernichols.com/events. There's all kinds of classes. My generative business pod's coming up soon, starting in August. That's a 6-month creation intensive, foundation class, all kinds of amazing stuff all the time going on. And hey, if you want to choose it and you don't think you have the money, but you know it will create an expansive future for you, choose it. See what shows up. Thank you so much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me for the Creation of Living podcast. If this conversation was inspiring to you, share the love. To work privately with me or for info on my upcoming classes and retreats, go to heathernichols.com. Have a beautiful day, and remember that the world thrives when you do.